What's going on, everybody? How's everybody's Sunday going? All right, I hope it's going good. So, check me out, man. I'm not getting into much today. It is a beautiful day. I'm just gonna sit back and relax and chill, get ready for another work week. But I wanted to get something out, and I have had a lot of subscribers or viewers ask me how original the truck is, what I've replaced before, what I haven't replaced. So we're going to jump into that today. We're actually going to jump right into it. We're going to try to do this a one-take deal, straight through, and then be done. So to start out, first out the gate would be, I got the truck 7 years ago, roughly 7 years ago. I paid less than $5,000 cash for this truck. I got it with 174,728 miles on the truck the day I bought it. So I've drove it every day, back and forth to work, for 7 years. All right, now through that 7 years, I drove it at 194,000, like 800 miles. It was almost 20,000 miles exact. 3 of my valve springs broke. Both valve springs on the number 8 cylinder and one on the number 7 cylinder went out. And then at that point, I tried to start it because I figured that I could get it, if I can get it running, I can figure out where the problem is. It backfired. It blew a 6-inch chunk off the back of my intake. So I had to get that replaced also. So I've had all my valve springs replaced, plus the intake, plus a throttle cable. And then I've replaced wheel bearings, water pumps, the rack and pinion. I've replaced brakes, just typical stuff that goes out, pulleys, you know, things of that nature. And I've also, about a year ago, I replaced the rear end in it. The rear end went out. Now the transmission, completely original. I haven't done anything to it. As a matter of fact, I haven't even changed the fluid in it. I'm a firm believer. I'm a little old school. So anything over 100,000 miles and the fluid hadn't been changed, you don't change it. So this truck has 411,000 miles on it and it hasn't ever been changed. So I'm not really thinking about changing it. I do have a subscriber that changed his fluid in his Ram and he said it worked better, but he didn't change all of it. But that's for another time. So that's all the things I've done to it. Major work would be a differential, which I got out of a junkyard for 500 bucks. And I replaced all the valve springs and the intake because, like I said, it backfired and blew a chunk off. Besides that, it's been a great truck, man. It started up every morning. Oh, and I've replaced the throttle body. So I do want to talk about that real quick, because I have had a lot of people like, hey, I changed my throttle body and it's still doing the same thing. At that point, you have a different issue, because when my throttle body went out, the truck went into like a semi-limp mode, wouldn't come out of second gear, just drove straight. So every time I'd kill it, restart it, the light would go away, the truck would run fine. But I don't know, 2-3 miles down the road, light would come on, start flashing, truck would do the same thing. I drove it to the auto parts, bought the throttle body, changed it out in the parking lot of the auto parts, the O'Reilly's. And then that was it. I plugged everything back in, plugged the battery back in, fired it up, and I haven't had an issue since. So if you are having an issue, you need to look for vacuum leaks. Check your line that goes to the back of your throttle body. There's a vacuum line that goes back there. You need to check that. And you need to look for maybe a cracked manifold intake, or maybe a crack in your manifold where you bolt your throttle body up. Because for me, like I said, I changed it, plugged it in the parking lot, fired the truck up, done deal, no issues. So with all that being said, that's everything I've done to my truck. Everything else is still 100% original. And then that'll be that. So with all that, keep living the dream, doing your thing, like and subscribe, and I'm rolling out.